Hi, I'm Moran. Welcome to Kitchen Tales. There's nothing I like more than catching up with mates while I cook for them in my kitchen. It's where all the best stories are told. Today I've invited a friend into my home to chat about their lives. I've done some digging into their favourite food memories, and while we chat, I'll be whipping up something delicious inspired by their stories. Sometimes what I come up with might really surprise them. So join us in the kitchen. I'm looking forward to sharing their kitchen tales with you.
Oh, wow. Oh, Maddie.
If you haven't heard of my guest today, you've been living under a rock. This guy is extraordinary. He's an actor. He's an artist. In fact, he won the Archibald Packing Room Prize. And he also did this incredible Black Lives Matter monologue on Q&A, which actually brought him to my attention. I'll tell you what, is there anything this guy can't do? Maybe it's cooking. Let's find out. I'm going to grab him. Meyne, finally, at last, mate. Let me get to meet you.
Good too.
Come in, buddy. I've got some food.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh, Meyne, I have to say, mate, I've been looking forward to this. Ever since that monologue you did on Q&A, I've been fangirling, hence why I reached out.
Yep.
Mate, I'm going to cook you a few dishes.
Nice.
From that conversation that we had. I've got what I reckon is the best sausage in the world, which is called a black pudding, or black sausage, as they say. Intestine of the pig, we fill it with all the goodness, all the offal, and that's exactly what you're telling me about. Is it your uncle?
Yes, it was my uncle, Uncle Leo.
Uncle Leo.
Yes, Uncle Leo. He, well, we had a red kangaroo.
Yep.
And my language, Wangatha.
Yep.
We call it marlu. And so he went through the process of creating from the intestine of the kangaroo, and then he put in all the filling. And I just watched it as a kid, and then because I was so interested, then he cooked it, and then he gave me the entire thing. So like it was, I think he liked that I was interested, and I was only about like 9 or 10 or something like that. And he still does the same thing, still goes out bush, still goes hunting. So yeah, no.
And I remember you saying to me that it has to be a red kangaroo.
Yes, red kangaroo. Just because like it's better tasting.
Yeah.
There is a difference actually, and black and grey kangaroos, which we call gurbit. They're not as good, so we're a bit fussy with our kangaroos, Wangathas. So yeah.
So you like the good stuff?
Yes.
I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in a pan, and I just think having it on toast is probably a good thing too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to cut this in half. So it's actually been cooked with pig's blood, so it's congealed.
Yep.
And it's got all the really good stuff. So I'm just going to cut it in half. I think it's easier to fry, and you get to see things like all the sweetbreads in it. So it's all the offal in it.
Yeah, right.
And it's a really interesting thing because I cook this all the time, and over the years I've cooked it for people that you would think, oh God, I wouldn't eat that.
Yeah.
And they eat it and they go, God, that is so good, but they've got no idea.
Yeah.
As soon as you tell them, they don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put that in oil. What I'm going to do, I've got a bit of sourdough. I'm a bit of a baker.
Yeah.
So I made this morning. Quite proud of that one.
Very good. Very
Not
good.
bad.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm just going to cook a bit of toast. I actually nearly bake bread every day.
Oh, very good.
Love it. So I'm just going to turn that over. Once it starts to cook, you can see it gets really soft.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to turn that high heat to start with, and then what I'm going to do now is virtually turn it off. I want that to sort of go really soft and sort of just slowly warm up in the centre. I'm going to make a gremolata.
What do you call it? Gremolata?
Gremolata, yeah. So it's basically an garlic clove. So it gives it that beautiful sort of garlic flavour. Flat leaf parsley.
Yep.
I'm just going to put a heap of that in there. And what we're going to do is add some grapeseed oil, quite a bit, grapeseed oil, and some salt. So I'm just going to blitz this. Right, so I'm just going to get a little bit of lemon juice, and I've got a sieve, which is my fingers, and that's a chef's sieve. And I'm just going to put some lemon juice in there, and it's quite acidic, but it's really herby, and that's what we want because of that fattiness of the blood sausage. All right, so mate, go for it. It might be a little bit hot.
Okay.
But you can actually, if you want to, you can grab that spoon and mush it down if you like. Which I might do that.
Ooh.
Just so it's all over.
Ooh.
It's really soft, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
And then here's...
And there's a pork, yeah?
Oh wow, that's really good.
That's
You can
lovely.
put anything in it, but it's just congealed pig's blood.
And it's rich too, isn't it?
Really rich. Someone said you're really hungry too.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure if I was coming to a cooking show, of course I'm going to make sure I'm going to make sure there's an empty stomach.
Is it as good as Uncle Leo's?
Well, different consistency because the meat's different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kangaroo,
Yeah.
you know how it's got that rich...
It doesn't have the fat content in
Yeah.
it. Now, I can another one of those. So, mate, the other dish that I'm going to do now, we talked about, you come from a large family.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're the youngest from memory?
I am the youngest, yeah, so the golden child.
The golden child.
No, my sisters give me crap,
Yeah.
calling me little prince and all this rubbish, so,
But they look after you, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. It's always like, we've always had that cheeky banter growing up,
right.
so.
You talked about your nan making this incredible curry.
Yeah. No, it was like our family dinner thing that would go there every Sunday kind of thing.
Yep.
Nana would pull out the chicken curry kind of thing, and one of those recipes that I think she took to the grave. Like she gave enough to let you know what the basics were, but she always put her little spice on the end of it.
Yeah, right. So I decided when you said curry,
Yeah.
and I thought, what would make a good curry? And I thought about chicken. I thought, I don't want to go up against your nan. I want to do something a little bit different. So short rib, which is a secondary cut.
Yep.
So it's really quite tough. But being Wagyu, it's got quite a high fat content.
Yeah.
So the fat will come out of it, which is really good in curries because you want to see that little bit of fat in it because the fat is the flavour. So I thought this would just be the perfect piece of meat for a curry. But I thought to myself, I wonder if you've ever tasted real prime cut Wagyu.
I don't think so. I can't even say the word. I used to say Wagyu or whatever,
I've got something for you. Right, now this is the sirloin.
Very nice.
Right, so that's the rib.
Yep.
The sirloin being, one of the premier cuts. You can see the marbling in that.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a bit of salt on it. Now this is Westholme Wagyu. So basically what it is, it's a breed of cow. So Wagyu is a breed like you get Black Angus or Hereford or Charolais, whatever it is. It actually came from Japan and originated from a dairy cow. It does get fat on the outside, but fat goes into the actual meat itself. And fat in food to me is just flavour.
Yeah,
so it means it's got stacks of flavour, but also it's really soft and juicy, and you'd never ever had meat like it, I promise you.
Okay.
Because it's so high in fat, it releases a little bit of fat and it actually starts to fry in its own fat.
Yep. Is that high heat, low heat?
That's really high heat to
Yeah.
start with. So you want to hear a sizzle. But once it starts sizzling, you don't want it to burn around the outside. So
Yeah.
we're just going to turn it down slightly.
Yeah.
And then once we get a beautiful crust on it, I'll flip it over. I'm not going to put that in the oven or anything. It's just going to cook solely on the top of the stove. You see that there? See how it's still sizzling?
Yeah.
It's actually, the fat is coming out of it.
Yeah.
And it's starting to dissolve and it's heating up. It's like it's deep frying in its own fat.
Yeah.
It's a very special piece of meat.
Yeah. Do you feel the pressure for your food to be good? Sometimes you just want to have a day off and I just want to tuck in that. Yeah, that's good enough.
I'm not feeling the pressure so much
Yeah,
today. Do I love cooking? I absolutely love cooking.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever excite me more.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it. So I'm just going to turn that over. Oh, you can see that now. It's got a beautiful crust on it.
Yeah.
Because it's Wagyu, you don't want to cook it too rare.
Yep.
Because that high fat content, you want it to actually make sure that the heat penetrates all the way through it.
Yep.
You actually need it to be, medium rare at the minimum, more medium I always find.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to let that sit and just rest for about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then you and I are going to try that.
Rightio.
In the meantime, I'm going to cut this up because I've got to make this bloody curry.
Okay.
All right, I'm just going to cut it into big chunks. I'm not going to be too worried about it. You can see the fat through that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So, Meyne, how did you decide to be an actor?
In the back of my mind, I'd always wanted to do it. It was just something that I kind of knew that I was going to do it too. I pretended that I was going to do other things.
Yeah.
And then, I was a bit of a rat bag at school, so I didn't pay attention as much as I probably should have.
Yep.
And so it was either acting or nothing. you know what I mean? So
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and it well, I think it's working out.
Mate.
So,
Doing all right. Like, seriously, in the acting world, who haven't you worked with?
look.
Hugo Weaving, Nicole Kidman, Kate Blanchett, Richard Roxburgh. Mate, I'll tell you what, that's pretty impressive.
You know, I'm just trying, I'll be confident as possible and, walking in there and show them that you're equal.
Yeah.
There's no point in like looking up to people and stargazing because they can smell it. You know what I mean? So,
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, you just have that confidence.
Yeah.
You know?
And mate, I have to say, I had no idea until I saw it in the news that you're actually an artist too. Like, wow.
Yeah, so I hadn't painted in like over 10 years. I wasn't even meant to be going for the Archibald.
Yeah, right.
To be honest, the process of painting was more satisfying than the actual end product.
Yeah, right.
I got to the end and I went, good enough. Because I just have that like, I think I'm a perfectionist at heart.
Yeah.
So I get to things and I go like, I'm never truly satisfied.
Yeah.
But I think that keeps me sharp when I'm going into whatever next project I am.
Yeah, right.
It's the pursuit of that, not actually getting the end. It's the journey and not the destination. Yeah. Look, I've gone in with the attitude that I've pretty much, how am I getting away with this?
Mate, you know why you're getting away with it? Because you're talented. That's
But you know what I mean? Like and that's what my brothers and sisters said to me.
Yeah. I'm just going to let that fry and get a little bit of colour on it. In the meantime, there's our little steak.
Nice.
I'm just going to, see it's still a little bit pink.
Yeah.
Grab that end piece there. Yeah. That's not the most tender piece of meat.
Yeah.
And flavoursome.
That's nice. That's really nice. And usually I like my steak burnt to a crisp.
Do you?
Yeah. So, well, I just don't want it walking off the plate. You know what I mean?
The great thing about Weston Wagyu is when it cooks, it just becomes this gelatinous, like gooey. It's just to die for. You can actually get it in lots of places now. Havricks online. So I'm going to make a curry. Now, hopefully it'll be as good as Nan's. I'm going to make a curry paste. So I've got some red chilies, some big ones, which are hot but not really hot.
Yep.
I've got some galangal.
Got some what?
It's like a ginger.
Yeah.
It's used in lots of Thai cooking.
Yep.
So we've got some garlic, ginger, galangal, chilies, bird's eye chilies, which are the smaller ones.
Yep.
Which have got a little bit of heat. I'm going to leave the seeds in it.
Yeah, I like a bit of heat.
You like a bit of heat?
Yeah.
And I'm going to add some oil.
Very nice.
Because we don't have to worry about the oil because we're going to fry it later anyway. When we make the curry, I'm going to put some star anise and some cassia bark, which is like cinnamon. So it smells like cinnamon, but it's actually the bark.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's great. It's great in curries. When I make the curry, I'm going to add these eggplants, little pea eggplants, and little apple eggplants.
Yeah, I like those ones.
Yeah, you like
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right, so I'm just
Good
going
green curry.
to blitz this. Right, same pot. I'm just going to put a little bit more oil in it, and I'm just going to roast it, like fry it off, and get you'll smell all the flavours in it. So I'm just going to
come up with my own cookbook. Stealing secrets from Matt Moran.
Right, so hot oil, and I'm just going to, you can see that there now, right? It looks quite raw. You wait until it cooks, it starts to look a little bit like it's been candied.
Yeah, right.
Right, now that that's fried off a little bit, Meyne, I'm going to grab a little bit of palm sugar.
Yep.
So, in Thai cooking, you need 3 real flavours, which is sweetness, comes from the palm sugar.
Yep.
You need sourness, which comes from the lime juice.
Yep.
And you need saltiness, which comes from the fish sauce. So if you have those 3 components in Thai cooking, you generally have got it absolutely nailed.
Right, okay.
I'm going to put like half a tablespoon in there. Chicken stock I'm going to add. And just deglaze it completely so it comes off the bottom of the pot. Some lemongrass.
Wow, that's very nice. I can smell a lot of these ingredients. I'm like, that's in cream. It's in my moisturiser.
I've just got some coconut cream.
That's it.
I'm just going to add that
Yeah,
to
you
it.
can put it on your face, you can eat it.
You can do anything with it. And this one here,
Fish sauce, yeah?
fish sauce, yeah. So that's the saltiness. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there. So basically what's going to happen, Meyne, is this is just going to braise for about 3 hours.
Yep.
What will happen is all the fat, as it starts to cook, it'll start to render out, and you'll have all this fat that will come to the top, and it'll just cook down, and it'll be really gelatinous. I'm going to cook this in the oven for 3 hours.
Yep.
But I'm going to put one in, and I'm going to pull one out.
Ah, very nice.
So I did this one earlier.
Yeah.
Whack that in. Right, and bring that over here. Now I've got some eggplants, which are the apple and the pea ones, and I'm just going to let this come back to heat. It's just been sitting in there.
Oh, very nice.
I'm just going to show you.
Just teasing, mate.
I'm just going to tease you. You can see the oil on the top,
Oh my God.
and it's kind of separated, but look at
Yeah.
that. It's just like, it's just soft and gooey.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, that's just about to come back to the boil. I'm going to add the eggplants to it. I'm just going to mix it around,
Yep.
and I'm just going to let them cook so they're nice and tender for a little bit, and then I'm going to make a salad in the meantime.
That looks mean, man.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah.
Right, mate, so that's all in there. You can see that big piece of cassia bark that I threw in earlier.
Yep.
And I'm just going to add a little bit of freshness. I've got some kaffir lime,
Yep.
which is from the lime family, but I'm just going to grate it. Adds a little bit of freshness at the end. And I've got a couple of kaffir lime leaves. So I'm just going to break them. By breaking them, you let that smell out. I'm just going to put them on top. Right, I'm just going to let those eggplants cook. Leave the lid on.
Yep.
Turn it right down. Cooking all the way through those eggplants. I want them nice and soft. I'm going to make a beautiful sort of Thai salad.
Nice.
You did mention to me the food you don't like is mushrooms.
Yes.
And friend of yours and friend of mine, Deb Mailman, cooked mushrooms for you. You got to tell the story because it's just gold.
So I was at Deb's place, and she lives just down the coast, towards Wollongong way. And then she comes over and makes this big feed and had this pasta dish, and I don't like mushroom, and I didn't mention this, and because you don't want to be rude and you want to eat whatever someone's got in front of you.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what your mum and dad teach you.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and then it was riddled with mushroom, like, and I was like, oh no, and like I didn't want to be disrespectful because like this is Australia's sweetheart, let alone just my mate. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating the pasta as I'm going along, and I slowly put the mushroom to the side, and so I'm sitting there and I tried to put my knife and fork to try and hide all the mushrooms that I wasn't eating, but it was clear as day. And Deb did the old, Australia's sweetheart, nice, and looked at me and like I was like, I just wouldn't make eye contact. But it was very embarrassing.
Mate, I remember being a kid and I hated peas. I don't know why, I love peas. And, I'd just get the plate and the peas at the end, and I'd just go like and pour them onto the floor under the table, thinking that no one's ever going to find them. And man, I used to get my bloody, arse walloped all the time.
Yeah.
And so you hung out with Deb a little bit?
Yeah, no, we've done a couple of projects together.
Yeah.
Mystery Road, the Sapphires.
Yep. Wow.
I feel like we've done more, but I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, no, I think there's a couple of the projects that we've done together.
She's a good chick.
She's very nice, very, very lovely person.
Yeah, she is.
Fantastic actor.
Yeah, great actor.
Her resume speaks for
You
itself.
tell me a story that you hung out with her up north?
Yeah, we were filming on Mystery Road the first season.
Yep.
And she was playing my mum in the show, and we were going out to a watering hole. What you're meant to do is put a rock underneath your armpit and put your sweat on that rock and then throw it in the water. So you're letting the ancestors know, like, you're a visitor there and that's the country.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't know that until afterward. The smoking ceremony was planned the next day.
Right.
And so I was leaving at the end of that day, I think.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get the smoking ceremony. And it's really unfortunate, like, it's not good cultural protocol.
Yep.
And so I jumped in this water, and that water was crystal clear, and then I cut my foot, and then I went, no. And then my foot blew up into a mini football, like an AFL football. Like, seriously, I was worried that I was going to have to get it amputated or something, so I had to go get a couple of needles and...
Yeah, right.
And it was, yeah.
So the moral of the story is you always have a smoking ceremony before you go for a swim.
Oh yeah, no, well, just like you're making sure that you're paying respect to that particular country that you're in.
Now, mate, I'm going to make a salad. I've gone ahead and started doing it. I've got a beautiful papaya here, which is green, unripe, and I've julienned it really fine. And I've also got some mango that I've julienned really fine. Julienne just means to cut really, really thinly. I've got some peanuts, some tomatoes, some beans that I've just blanched and salted. And I'm just going to put a heap of herbs in it. Thai basil, a little bit of mint, a little bit of coriander. Yeah. Remember I said before Thai cooking, the sweetness, which is palm sugar. And we're just going to make a little Thai dressing. We've got some fresh lime juice. Nice. Which is the sourness, and a little bit of fish sauce, which is the saltiness. And I'm just going to cut some chili, and I'm just bring that to the boil, pour that over, lots of fresh herbs, and that's going to be the salad.
Nice.
No seeds in this.
Yeah, you're right.
Otherwise it gets too hot.
Oh, I don't want it hot, mate. I don't want it hot.
You don't really like it hot? Right, and just throw that into there. And that's our dressing. So in here, I'm just going to get more herbs.
Sure. But did you say you chucked mango in there?
Yeah, mango. So see that there? That's mango, green mango, there. That I've just skinned it, and I've just, just grab it. And it's got a little bit of tartness to it.
Yeah, that's nice, sour.
It's good, isn't it? Just some herbs.
Yeah, we used to have a mango tree.
Did you?
Growing up. Yeah.
Because you grew up in Kalgoorlie.
Kalgoorlie.
Yeah.
But it struggled because of the heat.
Yeah.
And it's dry heat versus humidity, it's not going to work,
Yeah, yeah. Now, mate, what do you cook at home?
I cook, what do I cook? I cook a mean spag bowl.
Yep. It's a real staple, isn't it, the spag bowl?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, and because I went to boarding school, everything was canteen, cooked for you kind of thing. So after that, I moved to Sydney when I was 18, and I was like, what do I do? So,
mate, that would have been a culture shock for you. Mate, that's basically that dressing there. So that's just cooled down a little bit now. I'm just going to pour that over the top. That's going to be our dressing. Should probably let it cool down a little bit more, but it's nice if it's got a little bit of room temperature in it. You can just see that. That's seasoning. That's the saltiness. Don't have to worry about salt.
Yeah.
It's just done. I'm just going to grab that on a plate. This is going to be a feast for you and I.
Yeah, it looks nice.
All right, that's done.
Sweet as.
I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's something that I cooked earlier.
Oh, okay, right.
And I just remember you saying that your dad used to cook custard, and that's the only thing he could cook.
Yeah, no, well, that was his signature dish. Yeah, that was custard, and it was Dad's famous custard.
So I actually made this just before you came, just so you felt like you're at home a little bit.
Nice.
And I've just covered it so it wouldn't get a skin on it. And that's the custard, so you can try that and tell me what that tastes like. As good as your dad's or not. And it probably isn't, but
Oh, mate.
It's all right.
Yeah, that's good.
And I thought to myself, well, if you're going to have a custard, you've got to have a sponge pudding.
Oh, very nice.
So I made a sponge pudding also.
Hello.
Which I've boiled for an hour, treacle on the bottom, made a sponge custard mix, covered it up, put it in there and steamed it and boiled it for about an hour. And you can see when I turn it out.
Did you say treacle?
Treacle, yeah.
What's that?
It's like golden syrup.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Or honey. It's that sort of consistency, but it's got more of a molasses sort of flavour to it. Oh, look at that. And mate, you can't forget about your custard. Magical. Mate, that's for a little treat afterwards because it's, and I did this just to remember, because you can't have a curry without a beer.
This is true.
Right. All right. Put that one over there. That's yours.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. We haven't had the curry yet, but we're going to have it.
Cheers, mate.
Just before we make it. Right. Now, this curry. I'm pretty proud of this one, mate. I have to say.
Right, yeah.
Like a little bit of rice.
Yeah.
Just on the bottom. Like that.
Oh, mate, look at that.
So So I'm just going to carefully just scoop it out. It's just falling to pieces. Look at that.
Glistening.
Looks good?
Yeah, very, very good.
So Meyne, to me that looks like a feast. We've got our Thai curry with the Weston Wagyu, Thai salad with the beans and all the beautiful tropical fruits, custard with our steamed pudding. Buddy, I've just got to say, thank you for coming. You're an absolute legend, and I reckon you're going to be a legend for a long time. And don't forget me.
No, don't forget me. You're going to come around and bring me another feed like this.
No. You come to my place and I feed you. I come to your place, you feed me. We'll just see how your cooking skills are at that time.
Oh, you can come around and help me with an audition.
There you go. Buddy, let's go and eat. Grab that. Oh, and grab my beer. I've got my beer. Here we go. Look at that. Should be a waiter.